Greetings and salutations. My name is Michael Schwahn and welcome to the channel. We have some more reaction content for you, and today we are going to be checking out both the official story trailer as well as the gameplay overview trailer for an upcoming JRPG called I'm gonna guess Fantasian, or maybe it's Fantasian, Fantasian? I don't know. Maybe they'll tell us. I hope so. This is something that I'm skeptical on, because we were shown a very small piece of this back in like 2018. Fantasian is being made by Mistwalker Studios, which is the studio that was created by Hironobu Sakaguchi, who is the father and founder of the Final Fantasy franchise. He is the original creator that made it all those years ago and spawned so many games and offshoots and led inspiration for so many more JRPGs in the time since. And he left Square Enix sometimes back. I think it was right around Final Fantasy X, and went off and made a couple other JRPGs, which are, can't remember their name. They were both on Xbox 360 though. It was like Blue Ocean and Blue Dragon or something like that. I don't remember exactly. I don't remember. It's too long ago. But we didn't hear anything from Mr. Sakaguchi for a really long time. And then they showed off this RPG that he was working on, and it was an exclusive to Apple Arcade. And I know that this title still is, so you will need an iPhone, an iPad, or an Apple TV to be able to play this. If you don't have one of those, I'm sorry. I mean, maybe at some point it'll find its way onto a different platform. I don't know. Big Sag is correct. I mean, thankfully I do have the original model of an iPad Pro, so I could still play this through my iPad Pro that I've used for multiple different creative projects and stuff like that. So I do still have access to this game if it looks like something that's worth getting Apple Arcade and stuff for. Because if I remember correctly, Apple Arcade is a subscription type gaming thing. It costs like $5 a month, and you get a bunch of games that are only available through Apple Arcade, and most of them suck. But let's see if Fantasian, whatever. See if it looks good, and if it's worth the attention, or if it's worth even the hope of it coming somewhere else. So without further ado, let's begin. Everything will reach zero. I'm getting the impression it's probably not voice acted. It's not a bad thing, it's just an observation. The characters do look cool. They're putting a lot of focus on the characters, though. So, you know, here's the thing. Like, that was the... You look like somebody from Attack on Titan. Here's the thing. That was the official story trailer. I have zero clue what at all any of this was supposed to be. Like, you're clearly playing as this person, and there's an evil guy. And the evil guy. And there's big monsters. And that's all I've got. No fighting scenes like in battle. There was one. Here's one. We do have a gameplay overview trailer as well to watch for Fantasian. That's going to be coming up next. But there was one in this trailer that showed pretty standard looking JRPG combat in terms of like dodgeball style. But we can just move straight into the gameplay to get a better idea of like what's going on. Because unfortunately, like none of the characters talked at all, which we didn't even hear them like grunt. Like there was the part where like the airship that they were in was like getting hit or battered. We didn't even hear like a ugh or anything, which makes me think that there's just no voices whatsoever at all. Which again isn't bad. Played many JRPGs, but it means that there was no talking, and so there was 2 lines of text, which everything will reach 0 and some time or something like that, and that you told me the story trailer, and you told me 0 story, none, 0, zip, nada. We didn't see text boxes either. I mean, well, let's see what the gameplay has for us. A diorama adventure RPG. Hold on, what? Okay, we went in a very different direction all of a sudden. Okay, this is relatively what we saw like 3 years ago. Makes me think the boxes were made and... So hang on. Before we go any farther though, really what this is, like if we look at this real quick, the diorama style... This is just... Can I get a less blurry picture? Yeah, here we go. This is just the evolution of the pre-rendered backgrounds that we had in things like Final Fantasy VII, Legend of Dragoon, where it was a picture that the model then moved through. They have taken that exact concept from 1997 and turned it into, instead of a flat 2D image that a 3D grid allows your character to move on, they just made a 3D static image that kind of looks and functions the exact same way, and even looks a lot the same way of like those old PlayStation 1 RPGs, and have applied it the same way. Makes you think elementary school dioramas. Yeah, but I mean, nobody in my elementary school made anything that looked that good. That looks pretty sick. And you can even see how you can probably like run behind this building and run down here, or maybe there's an exit in the back of this building that'll take you down to this treasure chest over here. So all I'm seeing here is just the evolution of what we had back in 1997 to 2001-ish. So it looks good though. It looks good. It certainly doesn't bother me, but the question then becomes, is the game going to be fun? Random encounters. Still no voice work. Not even like a ha! Nothing. However, when you turn on the... Whoa, hold on. Hang on. What? Dimension on. When you turn on the Dimension system, the monsters you encounter will be cast away to an alternate dimension. Okay. Yeah, I think that's what it is, so you can fight them later. So if you just want to run around, you can store up to 30 random encounters. Be like, I don't want to deal with that right now. I just want to run around and talk to people. I don't want to do random encounters. I imagine at 30, it's like, well, you can't put these off any longer. You got to grind through 30 battles now. 30 battles now. Through the Dimension battle, you can purge all of the monsters in it. Whoa, at once? You have to fight them all like... That's a lot. It's not 18 battles. It's 18 monsters. Yee! This is a big boy. This is a big boy. So we have a turn bar down here. So it's hard turn based. So monster, player, monster, player, monster, player. Your white-haired character definitely looks like they have a higher speed or something like that, because they're moving up a rank each time in the turn order. So you will have kind of like Final Fantasy X style where you can take action sooner or even more times in a row so that that affects the turn order bar. That chain combo was neat though. The one where it hit a whole bunch of enemies in an arc kind of made me think of like Chrono Trigger. Very Chrono Trigger in my mind anyway. Big beastie. Hey, we got a text box. Is he about to knock you off a cliff? Ow! That looks cool. I'm ready to see this funny little robot. They still didn't tell me how to pronounce it. Does this have a release date? Look for on Apple Arcade. Oh, dang it. No, go back. I so badly wish I could turn these fucking things off. It didn't have a date on there. Does the other one have a date? No. Subscription required, 30-day free trial, terms apply. Some games may not be available in your area. Bummer. I want to know when it's coming. Like, Fantasian release date? 2021. That's not helpful. And it ahead of its release soon. Okay, well, that's not super helpful there, friend. It does look good, though. I mean, depending on how much Apple Arcade costs and how long that this game might take to complete, since it is essentially like a mobile game, kind of. That's all I'm finding, too. Soon, 2021. RIP. Since it's essentially a pretty light mobile game, like, you can play it on an Apple TV, but realistically, Apple Arcade is probably going to be targeting people with iPads and iPhones, probably more iPhones than anything. I can't imagine it's too long. Like, what? 20 hours? Maximum? And that's maybe with side content? And I could easily do that in a weekend. So, probably a good reason to take advantage of a free trial of Apple Arcade, because that looks like, it looks good. It definitely looks like a very enjoyable experience. I am surprised still at just like the lack of any type of voice react whatsoever in the characters, and maybe that's just a trailer thing. But like, even when there's not voice acting, normally you have like grunts or screams or something, but I don't know, maybe it's audio takes up a shitload of space, so maybe it's to keep the game's file size small. I don't know. It looks good, though. I mean, there's, as much as it is, like, disappointing in a lot of ways that this game is, like, being targeted towards, like, Apple Arcade and stuff like that, outside of ports, there is not many RPGs that are being built for mobile phones, which is unfortunate, because it seems like such a perfect platform. Like, this game, I feel like this game should have existed 5 years ago. Because I feel like mobile phones are the perfect platform to put RPGs. Because they're so much slower. They're easier to play, especially because like you don't have to do fast inputs or control like action inputs or anything like that. It's a bunch of menus that you then, like have some light strategy in and stuff like that. And outside of like some ports of just a few Final Fantasy games and like Chrono Trigger, there's just not many RPGs that have made their way to mobile phones, and I don't entirely understand why. Or maybe I've just missed them. That could be it too. But Athena, you make reference to Danmachi, and like that's a gacha game, and there's lots of those. But those make lots of money. And that's probably why I don't see many like regular JRPGs, because like this was probably funded in part by Apple, and it's going to be through Apple Arcade, and that has a subscription model. And so if they don't have microtransactions in Fantasian, which outside of like maybe a costume, I don't know what you're putting in terms of microtransactions in a freaking RPG, but please don't. I don't imagine it'll have much. So it's really more focused on sales, but not necessarily sales when you have to pay for the subscription for Apple Arcade. And that's probably why, actually, as I talk my way through this mental process of why there's not many JRPGs on phones, because they don't make as much money. It is the microtransaction because of the subscription. Damn. Big brain in it. Big brain in it. Big brain. I got big brain. No smooth brain. Big wrinkle. Damn. It looks good, though. I mean, definitely worth checking out. Definitely worth trying. I mean, it was made by the father of Final Fantasy. It couldn't be too terrible, right? He did so many things right for like 15 years. Probably still knows what he's doing. Probably. Didn't have any indication that he's went off the deep end completely yet, so definitely looks something that's interesting and worth checking out. I'm not hyped, especially because it's not on a platform that I'm like, hell yeah, I can just grab that, play it, love it, enjoy it, and move on. I have to actually put effort into playing this damn game, unfortunately. But what did you think of Fantasian? Do you know how it's pronounced? If so, please share it with me. Spell out the phonetics in the comments. I would very much appreciate it. But what did you think of the game, of the reveal? What do you think of it only being on Apple Arcade? And how much of a barrier is that to you? Whether it's because you have an older iPhone, because I know some people spend a long time before they upgrade phones. My phone's 3 years old now. 3 generations old? I don't fucking know. It's a Samsung Note 8. So what are we on now? Are we on Note 12s or something now? Either way, it won't play this. But like I said, I do have the first generation iPad Pro that I hope can play this. I hope so. If not, well, it looks like I'm not playing it then. Because you will need an iPhone, an iPad Pro, or an Apple TV. By my understanding, there might be some other way to play it, but I believe those are the only things that you're able to access Apple Arcade through. If I'm wrong, let me know. But what were your thoughts? Leave them down in the comments down below. Because, yeah, or you can catch up with us on Discord or Twitter. We also have a channel dedicated to these reactions on our Discord where you can place your own links because we do these reactions live on our Twitch channel on Tuesdays and Thursdays. We're also live on Fridays, but we don't do reactions then. And you're more than welcome to join us if you want to be part of the live conversation. We'd love to have you there. My brain just stopped, so I'm going to wrap this up now. There's links to everything that I just mentioned, all of it, down in the description below. Thank you so much for watching. If you do go watch another one of the YouTube videos, or if I see you in the live stream, thank you and enjoy. Peace out.